Hey guys, it's Marlene. Today I'm going to reveal to you the mystery of the red video button on the Lumix G9 Mark II, and probably your other Lumix cameras too. Now I have to say thank you to the person who left me a comment after my last video where I was complaining profusely because I didn't understand what settings the red button used. Now, when would you use this? Well, let's say you're out shooting photos and you're in manual mode and you see something really cool and you want to quickly shoot a video clip. Now you don't have, any video settings set up. You just want to push that red video button and go and be done with it. But sometimes that doesn't work out so well because you're not sure what settings it's set up for. And maybe it's really bright and you should have had a neutral density filter and things like that. So in this video, I'm going to explain how to set that up if you want to. But mostly, I'm going to tell you why I actually am happy to keep it the way it was. All right, let's go. Okay, let me show you where the menu is that you need to look at for this. So you go into the gear icon and you go into image quality page 2 and you want this menu here, auto exposure in PASM. Now right now I'm in video mode, but if I go into photo mode, that menu's in the same spot. It's just the gear icon, image quality page 2, PASM, and it can be set to on or off. So how do you check what settings your red video button is on? So right now I'm in manual photo mode. So here, I'll just go show you here. I'm in manual photo mode and my current shutter speed is 1/500th at f8. And you can just ignore those other settings for now. We're just talking about video. So I go into my menu and you can see that auto exposure PASM is on. So when I push the red video button, which I am now, you can see that the shutter speed defaults to 1/60th of a second. ISO is automatic and everything else, just ignore it. So you can just see that the shutter speed is 1/60th of a second. So now I'll just stop that. I'll go back into that setting again and put it to off. So now the auto exposure is off. So I'm in manual exposure and you can see that in manual exposure, I'm at 1/500th of a second at f8. So when I push my red video button, I'm also in 1/500th f8 and my ISO is automatic at 4000. So if you want to be fully automatic in the red video button, make sure that that is on. If I go to video mode, you can see here that in the current settings that I'm on, which is MP4 Lite, I've got 30 frames a second, shutter angle of 180, f8. ISO is auto at 500. So if I push the red video button there, it stays the same as just pushing the regular shutter button. And I can turn it on and off with either button when I'm in manual video mode. If I turn this to, let's say, aperture priority, so now I can change my aperture. And you can see that the shutter angle changes as well. So you have to be careful when you play with those things. Now let's face it, we all love the convenience of our smartphones for taking photos and videos. And I like that convenience too, and that's why I continue to use this red video button. I'm not a cinematographer. I'm a photographer who takes landscapes, birds, and when something exciting happens, I don't want to have to think, oh, well, what's my shutter angle and all this stuff and where's my neutral density filter? I just want to push this red button. Now, there are some things you can do to help with the dynamic range if you don't want to use a neutral density filter. So I'm going to go through some of those tips now. Look at this guy's feet. So here's some things you can do to increase your dynamic range. You can use a photo style like Cine D2, which gives priority to dynamic range. Now, if you want priority to contrast, you can change it to Cine V2. And if you shoot photos in RAW plus Fine or RAW plus JPEG, you can edit your RAW files and change the photo style in your RAW editing software. And also in your photo style, you can tweak your highlight and shadow settings. So you can actually lower your highlights so they don't blow out. So that's something else to consider. And don't forget, you can create your own photo styles and you can change those details within any photo style and save them as your own. You can also create a custom LUT or download one from the Lumix Lab app. Another thing you might want to try is using the iDynamic. So iDynamic will increase your dynamic range, and I often use it on auto, and what you're going to notice, it definitely boosts the shadows, but it will also help to hold in your highlights. I love this park. It never disappoints me, no matter what time of year I come in here. I was kind of hoping I could show you a snake, because just about every time I come down here I see a snake. So, by the way, I'm not afraid of snakes. When I was a kid, I used to catch them and take them to school and scare the girls. True story. By the way, on the Osmo Pocket 3, I actually do have an ND filter. Use it all the time. So in my many tests and experiences using the red video button, especially for birding, I don't find I'm bothered by the fact that it's fully automatic. I don't find I'm suffering or missing shots. In fact, I feel I'm getting shots because of the simplicity of just using one button. It's kind of like grabbing your cell phone and shooting something on the go. I don't have to think. In fact, it's almost as good as like an action camera or something. We want the convenience, we want the shot, we don't want to have to spend too much time setting things up. And to me, that is the joy of being a photographer who sometimes likes to capture a couple of video clips here and there in the moment. I actually think a bigger problem I have is holding the camera steady, especially with this 100 to 400 millimeter lens. I hope you'll consider using the red video button in fully automatic mode and not stressing about neutral density filters and all that stuff that cinematographers and YouTubers tell you you need to worry about. By the way, it's nearly impossible if you have birds in flight really high, you're at 400 millimeters, it's almost impossible not to get a little bit of shaky cam. And it's hard to keep them in the frame. So that's as good as it gets for me today. Definitely needs practice. So use at your own risk. If you would like everything all in one button to push to change from photo to video, then yeah, just go for it and do some tests. Maybe it's different for you. Maybe your camera settings are different. Also, this lens stops down quite far. Like when I'm at 400 millimeters, it's f6.3. That's not super wide open. You might have a different issue if you're shooting with an f1.8 lens or something. So definitely do some tests and see if it works for you. If you're getting too much depth of field on the auto, well then you might have to use neutral density filters and slow down that shutter speed and take the time to set up for video and for photo. All right, well I hope you like this video, and if you have any comments, questions, if you think I'm totally out to lunch, let me know, because you know I'm open to hearing what you think, and I really love all the suggestions you guys give me, so keep them coming. And if you missed the video that I started talking about in the beginning, I'm going to post that right here so you can see what all the palaver was about.